Morning Stampers, I'm Meg from LovenStamps and this is another Maker Mornings with Meg video. So today I was getting ready for the day and our video and so forth, and I put on my happy character pirate Mickey sweatshirt, and I thought, you know what, we're gonna make another happy card today and a takeoff from yesterday's card. So yesterday we did this fun flamingo, here he is, with that feathered background and the masking and so forth. And so I kind of thought maybe we'll do some masking again, and Sue had a great suggestion. It was to use a Stamparatus to hold our mask in place. We're gonna add that in. And then I was trying to think of fun stamp sets to go with a masking project. And when I think of fun and the whole catalog, I think really you can't go any more fun than the Zany Zebra stamp set. So this was my next starting point for our card. And good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here. We have a good, whoops, sorry. There we go. Good set. So, hey, Tanya and Elaine and Cindy and Sue and so forth. So everybody. So Zany Zebras and a masking card, adding our Stamparatus, and I'm going to kind of run through the design process with you guys, because the first thing I thought when I decided about Zany Zebras was that really you have to use black and white almost. It kind of just screams for black and white, right? It's a zebra. So we're gonna do black and white, we're gonna add a fun colored background, and then we're gonna kind of build from there. So, all right, let me turn you guys down this way. Good morning, Beth. All right, so, a little more, there we go. Okay, so we have, like I said, our pieces here, and I wanted to use our mask again. So this time for our zebra, we're gonna play sort of pun on the stripes. We're gonna go with polka dots, sort of like the inverse of the stripes. And so I have my mask here, and I'm trying to see, I already used it once this morning, so I wanna make sure I kind of line it up. Okay, we're gonna go this way. And I'm gonna bring in my Stamparatus. And if you haven't used the Stamparatus before, it is a stamp positioning tool. It has these plates that fit in here like hinges. You slide it in, you put your stamp on this surface here, and then you stamp it down on your project. So it is terrific, but it also can be used for other things. So I'm gonna remove this plate, and I'm going to bring in my paper. Let's see, we'll just kind of line this up where it was before. So there, and then I'm going to bring my mask and set it on here. And one of the great things about the Stamparatus is that it has these super strong magnets, and there's two. Mine only has one right now. I have no idea where the other one is. So I'm gonna pop this on here. But the nice thing about this magnet, like Sue suggested yesterday, is that I can easily take my hand away and not have to worry about things shifting when I just at that moment of not touching it. So then color-wise, I decided to go with these bright colors as my match. So I have Daffodil Delight, Grand Apple Green, and Bermuda Bay. Tanya says my sleeves are zebra. You're right. They're actually green and white. But yeah, certainly, I don't know, maybe I was just feeling zebra today. So funny. I love it that we have a zebra stamp set to go with that. So let's see. All right. Hi, Kelly and Teresa and Brenda. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my inks and set them to the side here so that I have them ready. And then I'm gonna grab my blending brushes. Now, yesterday we talked about masks because in Paper Pumpkin, if you get your subscription settled by March 10th, then you're gonna get these 4 masks for free and a stamping sponge. So we thought we'd have some masking ideas to get ready for that. Don't forget about the Paper Pumpkin. And today, what I'm gonna do is use my blending brushes. So you could use your Stampin' Sponge. These work great too. I just find these really handy. They are on not orderable status at the moment, and I always hate showing you guys things, but they're worth it. You're gonna wanna put them on your wish list to get after the week of May 29th when they're supposed to be back in stock. So, all right. Blending brushes, if you have them, you'll want to know how to use them. You're going to wipe on your ink pad and then swirl on your paper. Ooh, and I just totally, okay, since we're right at the beginning, we're going to flip this to the back side. There we go. Now, your magnet, if you have 2 of them, on here is going to give you a nice tight bond, but you really still, when you're wiping with a blending brush, want to hold with your hand. The thing that the magnet will add for you is that it will hold your mask when you have to like take your hand away to move your ink pad or something like that. So it's just sort of an extra. I've also used washi tape sometimes on the back. Actually, that would have been a good spot for this, then it wouldn't shift so much. You can pop a bit of washi tape on the back so that it holds it. And what I'm doing is I'm doing the darkest at the bottom, and then I'm going to just sort of brush a little bit up into the center there so that we have just a little bit of shading as we go. All right, next color, I'm going to use Grand Apple Green. So I'm wiping this on here, and then I'm going to start in the middle and then wipe down to merge into the Bermuda Bay and wipe up to merge into what's going to be our Daffodil Delight, okay? All right, but I'm gonna get that darkest right there in the center of this band, and I love having these saturated colors, especially because they're gonna be such a nice contrast with our black and white. All right, and then finally, I'm gonna bring in my Daffodil Delight and wipe that across there. I'm gonna scoop my magnet down so that it's holding the other side, and then I'm going to bring my blending brush in here and do my daffodil. And I do really like to pick up the ink by wiping with my blending brush. I find that it picks up a really nice amount of ink that will then disperse pretty well onto my project. So I've got my darkest band of color here at the top, and I'm going to always put my blending brush in that top dark spot as soon as I've inked so that I get the darkest ink there, and then I'm gonna smooth it down into the transition between the Granny Apple Green and the Daffodil Light. Okay, I think we're good. This is one of my favorite parts, is the reveal. So I'm gonna pop off my magnet, and there we have our really fun blended ombre background, okay? So we're all about happy with our card this morning. We have our happy stamp set, we have our happy colors, we have our happy pattern, and then we are going to come back here with our black and white. So like I said, with the zebras, I always feel like black and white is a great way to go. I have a piece of thick white cardstock, the thick basic white. With this, I often fold my cards without scoring, but when you're using the thick cardstock, you really want to score it. So I used my scoring scoreboard to go ahead and add that score. And then we're gonna layer our black and our white. And look at how that pops that design out. So yes, it's really pretty like this, and it's pretty just on white, but when you take this and pop the black underneath, then you really see that beautiful contrast there. So let's go ahead and adhere these layers. Let's see. What do we got? Put a piece of vinyl shelving. Oops, my watch is talking to me. Vinyl shelving under the Stamparatus. That's a good idea to keep it from moving. All right, there's our little mix on our adhesive on the bottom, our mistake on the bottom, but nobody knows about that except us, so. All right, and then layer these. Okay, so now we have our layered with that black border that just really pops it, and it gives us that kind of fun zebra feeling. So now we need a zebra, and I looked at all the images in here. I like this guy a lot, this sort of jumping one, and it has this little shadow that can go underneath him. And I decided that we would use our kick up your heels, happy birthday on the inside, and it's time to celebrate on the front. So we'll make this a fun birthday card. So I'm gonna use two zebras, and the first one is gonna be this guy. And the reason I'm using him is I want to have this layer here on top. Now, I don't always love fussy cutting everything, and the fussy cutting of the zebra would be okay, but the other solution is always to stamp him and then have a circle element. So let's go ahead and stamp him. I'm gonna come back with my Memento Black, and on our circle, the way he's facing makes our greeting fit perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp him. I'm gonna go ahead and add our greeting here. It's time to celebrate in the Bermuda Bay, and I'm gonna pop it right up close to him there. Okay, so see how his face really adds to it leads right into the greeting. And then I'm gonna punch this with my 2 1/4 inch circle punch, okay. And then I'm not gonna use it, but I'll show you anyway. Okay, so here we have our 2 1/4 inch circle punch with our zebra on it, and this is gonna fit down here like this as a focal point, and really fun, right? And I love this, and I do love my circles, but sometimes I like to add just an extra little visual layer. And in that case, my stitch-shaped dies, stitch-shaped framelits are the ones that really come in for me. So they're super handy. They come in circles, ovals, and squares, and there's 3 sizes of each one, and they have this beautiful stitch line inside them. So instead of using our plain one, I actually have one done ahead of time, and I'm gonna stamp it one more time. So we're gonna stamp our zebra, who is looking at our greeting, and then have this difference here. So this one is nice. This one is nice with a step up. I don't know if you can really get the difference in the effect with the stitch lines on there or not, but either way, I do love my circle punches. Okay, so we have our Greek guy on there. Now he needs some more like focus on him, some more focus of our attention, because right now there's kind of, yes, there's a focal point, but it's also like a little bit all over the place with this ombre. So we're gonna give him a better anchor. And what better way to go with our fun than to, here we go, use our rainbow glimmer sheets. So they come 2 to a page just like this, and you can punch kind of along the edge like I did here, or if you need access to a different color, I just slit the paper down the middle so that I can access the colors that I want. So now I've got this here, and I want that green and turquoise, and I can slide in and punch some balloons to go with our little guy here, all right? All right, now, when I first was looking at this card, I kind of was struggling because I felt like it wasn't very balanced. I needed something down here, but there's just simply not room for another balloon down there. And besides, balloons, you know, are usually floating. They don't usually go on the ground. So I decided to come in with a strip. And so here's the whole strip that I'm gonna just use this part of it right here. And we're gonna use this strip to anchor him to the ground down here. So let's go ahead and pop this on, and underneath here, and then we'll see about the rest of our pieces. So this is gonna go across here, just this little tiny sliver. I know 2 sheets doesn't seem like a ton in a package, but it really, that Artistry Blooms, or that rainbow glimmer paper from the Artistry Blooms suite will really last you a nice long time because you don't use a ton of it, right? Just that little sliver that I've used. All right, and then that gives us a chance to put our balloons on here. So I don't know about you, but I feel like these balloons need strings. And we have in our catalog right now, the black and white. Check this out. Is this not like perfect fun? Black and white Playful Pets combo ribbon, which includes this fun black and white stripe. So how to attach these? There are many fussy ways to do it. The least fussy way is to just go ahead and pop your strings on there, take a Stampin' Dimensional and put a Stampin' Dimensional on there to just secure the string in the place that you want it to stay. So we're just gonna pop these on here just like that, okay? And now we have our balloons with strings. We're gonna stick our zebra on here with a dimensional, and I'm gonna show you kind of what we're gonna do to the inside, as well as the how to avert disaster, which I could be headed for here. So I did have a stamping disaster. Okay, it's not really a disaster, but a stamping challenge to overcome when I made my sample, so. All right, and then we're gonna pop these on here. Let's see, we'll kind of go like that. So we're building our focal point and kind of keeping attention down here. All right, so pretty cute, but I think it needs more embellishment. What about you guys? So I'm gonna bring in our Artistry Blooms sequins, which are adhesive backed and lovely. And I've been using these a ton lately. So we're gonna use the little turquoisey ones and pop some of these on here, because if we're thinking happy, clearly sequins need to be in that mix, right? So I'm gonna pop a couple of these on here. I'm gonna try and get them so they're not directly over polka dots. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put one up here on our greeting, okay? So here is our happy card front. And then I promised to use my favorite zebra on the inside. Now, I will tell you that this is super dangerous to get your whole card set and then open it up and stamp on the inside. I mean, what if you make a mistake or get ink on it or something like that? There are ways to work around. So we'll give this a try. Maybe I won't have to use one. I'll just show you what I did earlier. But if I have to use one, then we'll be ready. So, okay, so I'm gonna take my little springy zebra here, and he is going to go on the inside of my card. I'm anchoring my card since this is moving around. I really don't want the stamping surface to go anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp him while I have my hand on here. And then this little hash stamp is gonna go underneath there because he's flying along. And then I have our two greetings, kick up your heels and happy birthday. So I'm gonna echo colors from the front. So I'm gonna bring in my Bermuda Bay again and stamp our kick up your heels, okay? All right, now earlier, my Granny Apple Green pad is not super inked. So the first way to avoid disaster is to test stamp. And honestly, I do this almost all the time. You don't always see me do it here on our videos because often I've done my test stamping before we get together. So I'm gonna ink this up and I'm gonna test stamp. And when I'm test stamping, I'm looking for a couple things. One, I'm looking to make sure that my stamp was fully inked, that I'm gonna get a whole image. And in this case, maybe I'm not, so I need to do that a little bit more. And I'm looking to make sure the stamp is sort of straight-ish, the way I expect it, and that I've got the color that I want. So, yep, that is looking better. So I'm gonna move this around. With these firm foam ink pads, I do really love them. They're super high quality, but the ink doesn't move around in them a ton. So if you always ink in the center of your pad, actually you can see on my daffodil, do you see the lighter spots in there where clearly I've been inking my stamp over and over and over again? Those are not where you want to aim for when you want a really nice, thorough inking. So you want to aim for a part that looks really juicy. And eventually when you get like a circle in the center, you're going to want to grab your reinker and go ahead and reink those. The great thing is that Stampin' Up! Has reinkers for all pads, including Memento, which I just re-inked this morning, because you want to, these pads are great. They'll last you a really long time if you just keep adding ink to them. So, all right, so enough said, happy birthday. There is, haha, all right, good. We had no disaster happen. So there is our happy birthday there on the inside. Now, when I did this card earlier, I had a little disaster because my happy birthday came out like this practically. There were big chunks of it missing. So a couple ways you can work around that. One, you can take your Stampin' Right marker, the ones that come in the families of 10 colors, or in the whole box of all of the colors. You can take your marker and you can fill in any spots that you're missing, or you can add a layer inside your card. Now, if it's really gone wrong, you could just add a full quarter sheet layer with like an 1/8 inch border, because that echoes our border on the front. So honestly, it would pretty much look like you intended to do that. You and I might know different, but you could definitely do that. Or you could cover up just the part. So what I did in that case was to take a little scrap of my white. I stamped my greetings on here the way I wanted them to appear. And then I used, since I had them handy, the square shape from my stitch framelit. Now, I didn't really want a whole square greeting on here because that's kind of out of proportion. I wanted the greeting to look like I intended it, so I wanted it to be short. So what I did was go ahead and cut it like this, which you can probably say right now, like, Meg, you don't have all the stitches. How did that work? So what I did was I put it through this way, and then from this piece that had my greeting on it, I moved my die up and cut it again at the bottom to add the bottom line of stitches, and then attached it inside, and this is what we got. Okay, so that is a really great way to make the most of your errors and have it get covered up and look like you intended that to be. Okay, let's see. So am I missing something here? Okay, so yeah, so that kind of gives you the idea for our happy card. It goes along with our happy card from yesterday, but in a different color palette for sure. The flamingos had this peachy coral color, and today we're going with a blue, green, yellow. I really love these three colors together, and the way they're just nice and saturated, and they really kind of have this happy feel. Now, a word about color choices. These 3 colors are all from the same color family. And when you are trying to pick a color, you know that you are always safe if you go with one color collection. So Stampin' Up! Colors come in collections. There are the brights, the neutrals, the regals, and the subtles. And within each of the color collections, there's usually a green and a red and a blue and a purple. And if you're just getting started with the colors, you'll kind of know, or you should know, that within each color family, you can combine any 2 or 3, or a little zany, add 4 even, any 2 or 3 of these colors, and they will look fantastic together because these hues are all color matched to go well together. And same here for the regals, and same here for the subtles. Now, sometimes you branch out and use, you know, ones from different families, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're feeling like color isn't your thing quite yet, and you're not really sure which colors to choose, I highly recommend designing projects that feature colors from just one family, especially when you're doing something like the zebra card here, where you're kind of starting from scratch. The other way to pick colors that I really love is to look in the catalog for the designer series papers and pick colors from the designer series papers. And they list right here kind of what they all are, but often these are from different color collections. So there might be a bright and a subtle and a regal and stuff all mixed together. But you know that if Stampin' Up! Put those colors together in a package of paper, they are beautiful together also. So there's another color hint for you in how to pick colors for your things. So, all right. And actually, if you're getting started in Stampin' Up! Colors, a really great thing that I recommend for getting started in colors is that you can get, like, if you're like, oh my gosh, I love that zebra card, those colors are great. You can get assortments of all of these colors in one pack of cardstock that is assorted. And the assortments, you're going to find, oh my gosh, here, you're gonna find them here on this next page that have sort of 20 sheets, so it's, or 20 sheets, so it's 2 each of 10 colors. There's the 8.5 by 11 and the 12 by 12. Let me know if you have questions about that. But that can be a nice way to kind of get started and have a little bit of fun to mix and match and be ready to go. So, all right, that, I just realized that my shirt and my card match again today. Woohoo! So that is our fun card for the day. And thank you guys for tuning in. Velda, Marie-France, and Ida, and Jennifer, and so forth. I kind of missed a whole bunch of people as we went along. Judy, Kathy, Lisa, Gail. Anyway, thank you guys for taking some time to stamp with us this morning. I will be back tomorrow with another Maker Mornings with Meg. If you have questions about supplies, they are linked in the video description. All of them are available with the exception of those blending brushes, and those you're gonna put on your wish list for later. Don't forget about the LovenStamps tutorials. The butterfly cards that I showed you already were our faux DSP card-based card that opens like this with fun stuff inside, and our DSP Make the Most of the Negative Space card, which is this guy here. So those tutorials are available, and you can learn more on my website at LovenStamps.com on the Card Kits to Go page. So, all right. I think that's it for this Thursday morning. I forget what day of the week it is. I'll see you guys for a fun Friday tomorrow, and I hope your day is fabulous wherever you are. So, happy stamping, guys. Thanks so much for watching.